Monthly meeting to order at 5:07 p.m. Coley, can you say a prayer for us, please?
Yes, sir. Heavenly Father, our Creator and Savior, I come to you tonight very thankful for all that you do for us, thankful for all that you give us. Heavenly Father, I ask you that you continue to help us always. Heavenly Father, give us good directions, guidance, good health. Give us good healing. Continue to bless our elders and our children. Be with them, our future and our knowledge of life. Reach out to those in need, please. And thank you, Heavenly Father. Amen.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Coley.
Yes.
Okay, on the agenda, we have a revised agenda prepared on February 18th. Basically the same items with the additions of, it looks like 3 resolutions. Chair will entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Hold on. Daphne would like to add one. I'd like to add one for enrollment committee, travel, real quick. Just take a minute.
Daphne's going to take a minute.
Under tribal council item.
Under tribal council items. Okay, the chair will entertain a motion to adopt the amended agenda.
Move it, Mr. Chair. Second.
Been motion second to approve the agenda as amended. Discussion. Any objections? No objections. Motion passed 5-0-0. Reading of the minutes. February 4th, 2019 regular TC meeting.
Move them, Mr. Chair. The approval of those minutes. Second.
Been motion second to approve the minutes of 2/4/2019 regular TC meeting. Discussion. Any objections? No objections. Motion passed 5-0-0. Reading of the minutes, February 11th, 2019 monthly land meeting minutes.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of the 2/11/19 monthly meeting.
Second that motion, Mr. Chair.
Been motion second to approve the minutes of 2/11/2019 monthly land meeting. Discussion. Any objections? No objections. Motion passed 5-0-0. Reading of the minutes 2-13 2019 CEO report.
I make a motion to approve those minutes, Mr. Chair.
I'll second.
Been motion second to approve the minutes of February 2nd or February 13th, 2019. Discussion. Objections? No objections, motion passed 5-0. Ratify 5 signature. Winnebago Marketing, additional funds for winter celebration powwow.
Move it.
Been a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Been motion, second to approve the additional funds for winter celebration powwow. Discussion?
Mr. Chairman, is the 2,000 for Southern Dance, what does that mean? Is that 2,000 just for that event,
For that category, yes.
and it's a dance group?
Whoever dances Southern.
Oh, all right.
Any other discussions? Any objections to the motion?
Objection.
Call for vote in favor.
Aye.
1, 2, 3, 4. 4 yes? No? Abstain? 1. Motion passed 4-0-1. New business, approved travel to Colorado Hemp Expo, March 29th, 30th, 2019.
Who would it be for? How many people?
As of today, Jim has shown interest and I have an interest in.
Seems like she did too.
She did, this week she went to the same kind of conference.
Okay.
She,
Mr. Chairman, I would, gee, they're gonna think I'm the only one that's at the council meeting tonight.
well, that's good.
I'm gonna make a motion that we allow travel for the people that wanna attend the Hemp Expo in Denver on March 29th and 30th. I move it, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Then motion second to allow travel for anyone interested in attending the Hemp Expo, March 29th, 30th, 2019. Discussion? Any objections? No objections, motion passed 5-0-0. Adopt a resolution authorizing the Great Plains Tribal Chairmen to apply for a PL 93-638 contract. The Chairman's Association is asking each of the tribes within the region to prepare a resolution of support so they can seek additional funding through the 638 contract process. And they've done this in previous years, and it's come to the end of their contract period.
Is this for all the Aberdeen area tribes?
Yes, Great Plains region.
Okay. How is it gonna be dispersed if it comes
It's gonna go for their administration
of the Aberdeen people?
of the Great Plains Tribal Chairmen's
Oh, that
Association. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I move it, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Then motion second to approve resolution
1973.
To adopt resolution 1973 authorizing the Great Plains Tribal Chairman's Association to apply for PL 93-638 contract. Discussion? Any objections? No objections, the motion passed 5-0-0.
What was that excuse me, Mr. Chair, what was that resolution number again? Could you please repeat that?
73, 93-73.
Thank you.
93-73 or
19-73. What'd I say?
93.
Oh, did I?
That's where I got.
Got me confused.
That's okay, it's after 5.
Okay.
Okay, we have adopt resolution. There's a little bit of confusion here. Which one is this?
That actually has about 6 parts to it, Frank. And if you wanna go through them in order, is that the best way to do that? We have summaries that accompany the resolution there. The first one supports the police department and
Do
our
we have them?
911.
Do we have them?
Yeah.
Okay, that's where the confusion is. They give us a lot of,
Did they give you the summaries to go with the resolution? There should be 6 summaries.
okay, I have this resolution, consolidated tribal assisted solicitation.
FY19 it says on the top.
Yeah.
Did you get the right one? Yes.
Okay,
And as
this-
a part of that, there are 6 pieces.
Okay,
And what they do is the Department of Justice consolidates about 10 different grants together, so we submit them all at one time.
Tribal assistance.
want to explain it a little bit?
Yes, the first program area that we do, as a part of. Sure. The first part of this.
Get her something to stand on.
The first part is will support the police department. They want to be are we good? Lord, like that?
There you go.
Okay. They want to be able to download from their body cameras and the cameras from the vehicle and where their laptops that are installed in their vehicles. They want to be able to download that data directly to their server without taking anything out of the vehicle. It kind of saves on equipment, saves on time, and it also improves the chain of evidence for them by doing that. And so we're looking to get them the equipment for that. We're also looking at a significant investment in the 911 dispatch services that will allow our dispatch office to come up to what they call the new generation 911. The equipment will allow us to then be able to accept text and videos and phone messages, however people in today's world want to send that communication to our dispatch office. That'll allow our law enforcement, fire, emergency service people to be able to be more prepared to respond to those emergencies. So there's a major investment on that. We looked at and did a letter of intent last fall on 911 through the Federal Emergency Management. That has not evolved. That venue for funding for this same equipment would have required us to have a 40% match. This one will have no match requirement for us, and we'll be able to get all the equipment. So the other thing for you to know is we know that this will be the starting point, and there's likely to be some additional things that we'll want to go after in another year or two to continue to enhance that system, so you know that. The second one that we're looking at is Program Area 2, and that is to do a tribal-wide consolidated justice planning. We want to bring together the court, the law enforcement, human services, emergency services people to look at all of our justice pieces together and put together a consolidated plan so that they're working together, minimize duplication of services, those types of things. So that's what that one will be. That'll be a 2-year grant. That one will actually, the staff person that will come on board with that will be seated in the Planning and Development Office. And then I'll turn over program areas 3, 6, 8, and 9, right?
Yeah.
To Trish.
Okay, so all these other ones are also under CTAS. Based on the needs of the tribal court, Barb had a staff meeting with everybody, and we basically came up with the needs of the court. And so we were looking at these grants to sustain and also create new positions within the judicial system. So we'll start with purpose area number 3. That one will support a pretrial officer, a pretrial officer assistant, a data entry clerk, and an adult rehabilitation and reentry officer. These are all new positions that will be housed at the tribal court, and the focus will be for adult criminal cases. And then there's the summary to justify the award that we are seeking. And these are all non-matching grants also. So purpose area number 6, that is for, this one is for Winnebago Tribal Court Children's Justice Act Partnership for Indian Communities. And this one is focused on child abuse, neglect, and also sexual abuse cases that will be coming to the court. And these positions will support one presenting officer to take on these cases and do the investigation instead of having just the one prosecutor that is currently there at the court to focus on the other criminal and the what other ones do we do there? The JFKs, the JFJ, and then also your vehicles, traffic violations also.
So officer of the court.
Yeah, it would be another prosecutor
It's-
of the court, just another position.
All right.
Yeah, it's a prosecutor, but in the grant I had to write it as a presenting officer. So that'll be a new position specifically for child abuse and neglect cases. And it also support a paralegal position in there that will assist within the prosecutor's office too and act as a liaison with our OVC advocates that we're waiting to get awarded. We haven't heard from that grant yet. They're still reviewing the applications, so that will help support that one. Moving on to purpose area number 8, that is to support a juvenile healing to wellness court. Within your tribal code, you have a traditional, what is it called? The traditional wellness court already implemented within your tribal code. So this one basically will do the same thing that does. So
How does that work then, if we already have it? So this is gonna fund what we already made up?
it'll fund it and it'll fund those positions.
Okay.
Codes of the court of the tribe.
So do we have traditional people sitting in there, or is this gonna pay
This
for
will
those?
help get that going again. And
Okay.
It'll support all those positions within that court also. So the legwork is already there. It's just getting the people in there and implement that program again. Okay, so purpose area number 9, that is for the Youth Resilience Intervention Program. And what's really neat about this program, it will sustain one of our staff workers at YCIC who will be counseling and providing trauma-informed care for our children.
Which one is
That is purpose area number 9.
You got 386 for one position?
Sorry?
Yes, 386,000. You
For
said-
purpose area number 9.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a 3-year grant. So that'll support,
So 100,000 per year that person's gonna make?
no,
3 staff members.
Three staff,
Oh. I was gonna say, yeah.
prevention specialist, like
Yeah, we want to offer the best service for our kids, so we went for the max. Yeah, that was the goal, is to go for the max and get all the staffing we can to help our community, not only with the kids, but for adults also. So we're looking at close to probably 2 million.
Is this a one-time or non-recurring?
Now, when will they be awarding these to us?
These should be awarded to begin on October 1.
It's a 3-year non-recurring with no match.
Okay.
So we're gonna have to kind of start making plans, huh?
We already do. We already have things in place for this.
Oh.
What's in place when the children are removed from the home? Where are they going to be?
That would be a child and family service question.
Because
We
we
don't
already,
remove kids.
yeah,
and
we
then
already
travel
don't have placement for them. We're in unit foster homes. And the foster parents that we do have are being overworked.
That's being addressed with child and family. This year's the judicial. These are two separate things.
Not really. If you're talking child abuse and sexual abuse in the court, then doesn't child and family play a part in?
You're
that?
talking about foster parenting.
Well, foster caring because they.
You
need
said
to be-
foster parenting.
Yes, they need to be placed somewhere safe. So
That's
we're-
being addressed over there with them.
I'm just asking a question.
Continue.
Okay, so we're seeking approval for all purpose areas within the CTAS grant, please.
When is it due?
They just moved the due date to March 12th. It was going to be, I believe, the 26th or the 27th, but they moved that as of today to March 12th.
How would you like the motion to read?
To approve the resolution. That's what I said.
You should take one resolution?
It's one resolution for all six, yes, and that's how the Department of Justice likes to have it.
Move to approve one resolution.
But when we have discussion, I wanna bring this up.
For all six, for the
Let
for
them
all
know.
applications.
Let them know
It's a
before
single
we make a
Okay.
motion.
Make a motion to.
The Consolidated Tribal Assistance Solicitation,
2019.
FY19.
Yes.
I move it, Mr. Chair.
Discussion.
Been a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Been a motion and second to adopt resolution 19-74. Consolidated Tribal Assistance Solicitation, discussion.
Okay, I have one question on PA2. Justice Systems and Alcohol and Substance Abuse. You have an amount there for 133,813.
Yes.
Okay, that says Tribal Justice System Strategic Planning, and then it goes on to say that.
Mhm.
Correct?
Right.
Alright.
That would be correct.
Tribal Justice Systems Strategic Planning. What is that?
That will be a formal process in working with,
That's right. With the training and technical assistance people with the Department of Justice. Their primary one that they've used over the years has been with Fox Valley Technical Community College. They would come down and provide technical assistance and walk us through the process that they want us to use to make certain that we're doing all the steps that they've seen over the years that we need to make certain that we're covering.
In the judicial system.
Yes, in the judicial system. And you
Okay.
want to think of that from a broad perspective, as I said, to include not only the court but the law enforcement, and how that ties over a little bit with what LaDonna was suggesting with human services, how they mesh together and cross over. So we're making certain that things are working well together and they're coordinated. It'll also include domestic violence as a part of that as well, I guess.
So where does the alcohol program come in on this? Substance abuse, alcohol and substance abuse. Are they tied in on this with you and working together on that? Or is that a whole separate
The
thing?
justice systems, there's a comma there, and justice systems and alcohol and substance abuse goes with program area 3. So the public safety and community policing is for the 293,943, and then the comprehensive tribal justice systems planning is PA2, and that's 133,813. And then the next one is the justice systems and alcohol and substance abuse for PA3. And so I think how you're following it along. We tried to put the descriptor in front of the dollar amount. So the PA3 is for $749,970, and that is to address rehab and reentry. Yes.
For the rehab reentry, that's going to be adult rehab and reentry. So that will support a rehab reentry officer that will develop and implement this program, and that is.
Why aren't you? See, we got people. We pay people for this already over there in the alcohol program. How does that fit with what they're doing?
Yeah, once they get the rehab reentry officer in, then they'll develop a team to include the alcohol program with other departments, and then they'll be the contact person to get these adults that are in the judicial system to have them.
It's like the beginning of the process.
So are they like a liaison, a go-between for all that?
It's just a starting point. If the judge orders them into a rehab re-entry program, or they leave because they had an assessment done, and they are ordered to do 6 months treatment to a year, they go do that. This person only does monitoring, and then reports back to either the judge also, or the presenting officer, and or the assessment unit that did their assessment.
Okay, clear. Thank you.
Okay, so
Thank you very much. I appreciate
this
that.
person is gonna have to be somebody that knows the community well, because I've seen through the court where we've had somebody do civil commitment done, and they were ordered the whole, they lied, basically. So they were ordered to, because the judge didn't know this community. So they were ordered to outpatient, and they know, when they've been in the system so long, they know how to work that outpatient system too. When to drink, when not to drink, what to say, what not to say. So
to answer that, or to get to your point and to swiftly, because we're probably done here, this person does that. It's like a tracker. Think of it as a tracker.
I got you.
And that's what they do. And just kind of what she's asking of her question.
So they'll be kind of checking on them the day before they have outpatient, or.
Then I do have rehab reentry juvenile, and that's exactly what they do for our juveniles, and it's been very successful.
Good.
I have one question. Only one of these grants says no federal funds required.
There's no federal funds for any of them, none of
Well, this one said, okay, but it just only specifies that on one of them.
There, that's
on
clear
the
to
one
me.
we're asking, and it's inclusive of all of them.
Okay.
I like what I heard.
Okay.
Good question.
Any further discussion? There's been a motion second to adopt resolution 19-74, FY 19 consolidated tribal assistant solicitation. Any objections? No objections, motion passed 5-0-0.
What's that resolution number?
19-74.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. Okay,
That was a consolidated tribal assistance solicitation.
the next item, adopt resolution FY 19. No, Band of Mission Indians charitable giving halfway. Giving halfway. I'll get halfway house. Okay, Joy.
And I trust you have the summary in front of you. This goes along with our halfway house project, and this is where we will use the charitable foundation with the San Manuel Band of Mission Indians from California, and we will be asking them for a donation of $100,000 towards the construction for the halfway house.
Now, I'd like some, I mean, it sounds good. I'd like some kind of details, what brought you to contacting these people, and what made you ask for 100,000?
We looked at what, I guess the first part of your question is how did we decide on them? We were using the new, it's called eCivis. It's a grant search things and grant management program that we're in the process of implementing. And as a part of that, this came up as a search piece on that. The next resolution we'll be presenting, we found it in the same way. There was an additional one, and I always say this wrong, so I apologize to them. The Tulupa from Washington State had also had one. We'd spotted them before the eCivis thing. We were looking at applying to them, but in the process, they changed their application, and they don't do it to tribes in general. They're staying right within their community area, so we're not able to make a request of them. We do have a regular campaign and a part of our efforts for raising the additional funds for the halfway house that we're looking at other tribes across the country, because the halfway house here does provide services to Native Americans primarily from across the country, but mostly from this area, but from across the country. From what I understand, there's probably more individuals that are non-Winnebago tribal members that receive services there than Winnebago tribal members. All I can figure is tribal members from here are more inclined to take up residence with family members, so they go back home rather than using the services of the halfway house. That may change with a newer facility that's a little more modernized, a little more comforts, those types of things with this new facility. So that'll remain to be seen how that transpires. But essentially, we're just looking at tribes in general that would have the resources and do charitable giving. These two came up for.
I'd like to make a comment, Joy.
Sure.
What we see now, because I used to sit on the alcohol board, as of Monday, I'm a recovery outreach worker, is our halfway house is filled with our tribal members, and DDU is filled with non-tribal members. So we're still at
So that's
the point.
changed then?
Pardon me?
That makeup of the individuals that use the halfway house itself has changed then? Is that what you're saying?
No, it's been this way. We've been having a problem with getting our people into DDU. The people that are in DDU, which is still IHS, correct?
Right.
Are from Kansas and South Dakota.
Mm-hmm.
And our people aren't, for some reason, well, DDU is only taking 5 because they only have 1 counselor. So that is something that needs to be looked at seriously. And it's been that
Mhm.
way for some time.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, I'm getting into something else. But anyway, February 28th, we're going to be going to Wagner to look at their detox.
Okay.
So, when you say, that our halfway house is filled with our people, but we can't get our people into treatment. So, I just wanted to say that's.
Right. My understanding is once they come out of the detox unit that they use the services at the halfway house. Is that not correct?
No, we can't get them into DDU here. We send them other places.
Treatment, you're just referring to treatment.
Right.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So,
Just for the sake of clarity, what I'm hearing from a constituency is that we are using our halfway house to its maximum benefit for our tribal members. Is that correct?
correct.
All right.
where we're having an issue is getting our tribal members into DDU.
Yes,
Yes.
yes,
Okay, so that's a work in progress.
yes,
We will have to address that issue as we go.
right.
Would you all agree? Okay,
Agreed.
Wait, no,
Okay.
well, but my point is that, you know, it's not other tribes that are at the halfway house, they're at the DDU. And I just wanted to clarify that.
Okay, it's clarified.
here.
We have a resolution in front of us asking asking
It's
for
just what they reported
charitable
to me.
giving for the halfway house.
Mhm.
I have a question. A while back, I wanted to include that $800,000 in the amount we drew down from our portfolio. And the comment was made, well, we don't necessarily have to do that because we think we can come up with the $800,000 through things like this.
Exactly.
And other donations.
Yes.
How long a process is that gonna be?
We're looking for this process to take at least 6 months.
What if you only have 200,000 for 6 months?
We'll keep looking, but we're thinking
Yeah, well,
that,
then you're gonna run out of that. Then when are they gonna pull that million back?
good question.
We'll answer that question at the treasurer's report. There's a resolution coming before us up during the treasurer's report.
Okay,
Yes.
here's boss, you win. Okay.
But it is worth further discussion.
I just, I don't wanna kick this can down the road. We need to do something about that
Right.
alcohol program.
Right.
You mentioned that you took a position up there. Who's gonna run the APIS program?
That's what I'm here for.
Okay.
Who's gonna replace you on the board?
The alcohol board,
Yeah.
I don't know, I'll still be involved, I'll still have input
You
as
can't
a,
have both. You can't be a board director and employee for that
No.
board.
I know, I'll still have input as a recovery outreach worker, but we'll have to advertise for 2 positions.
Who else is,
Nate, Big Fire,
what does he do?
he was, halfway house tech.
How long has that been going on that you got, or you just got your job? You just
Yeah,
got
we
your
both
job
just
up-
started Monday.
Oh, and he's been up there though, huh, for a
He
while?
was he was in a halfway house tech position, now he's a recovery outreach worker with me.
Okay.
Okay, get back to
Okay,
the
all right,
resolution.
getting back to
Okay.
your deal, yeah, all right, yeah, I'd be all confused here.
Okay, the chair will entertain a motion to adopt resolution 19-75.
Move it.
The motion is our second.
Second.
The motion second to adopt resolution 19-75. FY19 San Manuel
Manuel.
Mission Indian Charitable Giving for the halfway house. Any further discussion? Any objections? No objections, motion passed 5-0-0. Next item.
The next one is, same thing with the Siletz tribe, but we'll be asking them for support of 14,000. Yes.
Move it, Mr. Chair.
Been motion second.
Second.
Been motion second to adopt resolution 19-75 or 76.
76.
Any further discussion?
Is this, Wisconsin, is this a Washington tribe?
Yes, yes.
Any objections to the motion? No objections, motion passed 5-0.
Thank you.
Resolution 19-76 is adopted.
Thank you for your
Okay,
support.
summaries for resolutions, that,
That's a new thing that we're trying to do whenever we bring a, resolution for a grant request, that they all require a summary so that you have that information. Ideally, that you have an opportunity to review that ahead of time.
Thank you.
it's a good thing that this wasn't due tomorrow.
Yes, exactly. We're finally getting on the front end.
All right, sounds
Thank you.
good.
Thank you.
Number 6, approve new applicants for Board Committee.
Since Brinda's the only one that applied, I make a motion that we form her for that position. Was there two? Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I didn't see you.
Crystal White.
Didn't get to go through the nominating.
We can appoint both.
He's on that committee.
Bill, can you help us out here? There's a question at the table of how many people are on that committee currently? Enrollment.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. Alright, forget it. Pick one.
Okay, but that's okay, it'll come up next week. Here, I only have one name in there. Am I missing one? For, that position? Who's the second one? Oh. Well, I'd make a motion to appoint Brenda, but if somebody else wants to make a motion to appoint Crystal, then we need to nominate. Mr. Chair.
Isn't Crystal already a foster care? Crystal White? I believe she is.
What'd you say?
Crystal White is a foster care.
Do the bylaws state you can't?
No,
That
I'm
would
just
be,
saying.
that would be a plus.
I'm just saying she's already has that interest in it.
Okay. I nominate Crystal White for the Equal Board.
Mr. Chair, you could have show of hands for who wants.
Okay. For the record, Kenny has nominated, Brenda, and Cody has nominated Crystal. A show of hands,
Oh, yeah.
those in favor of, Brenda? 1. Show of hands, those in favor of Crystal? 1, 2, 3. Okay.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Okay. For the record, Crystal received majority vote on this. Christo's appointed to the ICWA committee. Okay. Wildlife and Parks. Approve new Wildlife and Parks, advertise one vacancy for Wildlife Parks Commission.
I move to advertise, Mr. Chair.
Second.
A motion second to advertise for one vacancy for the Wildlife and Parks Commission. Discussion.
That 30 days, Kenny? Yeah.
Any objections? No objections, motion passed 5-0-0.
My second motion in regards to A is that I'll make a motion to accept Lula Saints' resignation.
Oh, yeah, okay.
He's resigning, that's why this is open.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, we need to accept his resignation. I move it, Mr. Chair. Second.
A motion second to approve the resignation of Louis St. Cyr. Discussion? Objections?
That's added, is that added onto the motion?
Yeah.
Okay,
No, that's a second motion.
That's two motions.
okay. Who, Kenny made that
Kenny
motion,
made
who's
that
it, wrong? Okay.
No further discussion, any objections? No objections, motion passed 5-0-0. Approve uniform equipment certification policy.
Why is that coming to us?
I gotta read it. Let's see it.
That's my question too. I mean, that should be a thing for the CEO to disseminate, not us. I don't know why it's coming over here. They had their budget, they had money put toward that program.
Facilities goes through the same process.
Okay, if there's no objections, we'll refer this to the CEO and to the Physical Resource Director.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to number 8. Winnebago Volunteer Fire Department. Job description, responsibility.
Not here. No,
Nothing.
did they know about it?
I don't know. I remember we had that discussion with them before at the last meeting. There was a question concerning the property that they want to have a controlled burn on. And I sent this to Sheila and haven't had a response from her yet. There's a deed that's behind here.
Yeah, I
Come
see
back
that.
there.
Can we make a motion to table it? Ask to table this?
Yeah,
I'd like to table this, Mr. Chair.
okay.
Second.
And motion second to table Winnebago Volunteer Fire Department's request. Discussion? Any objections? No objections, motion passed 5-0-0. Come in.
Hi, Scott.
Okay, next item, old business.
Old business?
This is the third time.
Good evening. As we already kind of discussed, I mentioned that I was myself and Nate Big Fire are the new recovery outreach workers. We started Monday, February 18th. We already had our first client today. 29-year-old stage 4 liver failure. No place to get her to. So I just got a text now. She's in the emergency room. So we got her at the halfway house. And
Be careful what you say.
yeah, I'm not saying names. I'm just saying.
It's just too much information.
Okay. But that person had nowhere to go. So our recovery outreach workers went and got her from where she was and took her to the halfway house. And since so those are the kinds of things that without this TOR grant we would not be able to do. Nobody does that. So listening here to all these other programs that are going to be implemented, I don't see where they're going to change anything. What we're doing, we always say a hub and spokes model. So the alcohol program, we're really actually doing that. So now I'm there. When I first contacted with this person, I was at the Atlas office, and then I referred them up there, and then they called us. So the Atlas office has become a easy contact place for our people. And now that I'm going to be up on the hill, I think we're going to be losing some of our people by Atlas not being open. So Atlas still needs to remain open. Originally, back in August, July or August, we had an agreement, a verbal agreement with Randy DeCora with the VISTA programs. We were going to be working under this community engagement grant that the tribe has, and we applied. They didn't hire us. So anyway, so now I'm doing this. But that was our plan. So we did have a plan. That's why we did not apply for any kind of money for personnel. So I wanted to make that clear. But now Atlas does need to stay open. So I have a real good person in mind to do that, but we do not have money to pay for them. So that's what I'm here for. Originally, I sent you guys a letter. I explained what I just said, and we asked for $23,000. If we could break that up in quarters, we could work that way too.
You got 16,000.
That was for telephone, the food pantry, which is a big thing. We didn't have any money in there at all for any kind of wage. It was all for the program. The 16,000.
All your food is donated to you, isn't it?
No, we have to pay for it.
Well, that's not true. I know you get a lot of meat from Craig.
Oh, yeah, we don't get that much. You know how many people we serve? Yeah, so that's the only thing that we do get is that hamburger that's donated from Holstein. And that's probably about 200 pounds this last time.
That's because I've got the other 300.
Uh-oh.
I give it to every funeral. I give it to, and then people in the community. But Donna, I guess I want to back up a little bit.
Okay.
We originally gave you, the first time we gave you money was 20-some thousand out of appropriations. And they kind of went above and beyond what they were supposed to, the council did, because it's not even a program, yet they saw the need, what good it was doing to the community. So they gave it to the Atlas program. And it worked out well. Last year, the tax rate
Mm-hmm.
Even a program that isn't on the appropriation list, took a cut. That meaning you got cut from that to 16,000. Okay, I read where you're asking for 10,000 for a pistol.
No, that's not true. I don't know where that came from.
It says right here, Atlas, financial assistance for VISTA workers.
On your agenda it says that, but I didn't put that in there. And I told Coley that earlier. That was error. That's not what we're asking for. We have nothing to do with the VISTA program. We were going to, but they didn't hire us. We had an agreement, and then when it came down to it, they didn't hire us.
So scratch that.
Scratch that, yeah. I'm just afraid if we give you, are you asking for 10,000?
No, I'm asking for 23,000. Divide that up into quarters for the year.
23,000, a month, 16,000?
Yes.
Do you have a 501c3?
Yes. We always have been.
Okay. This memo that you provided here, was this done before? There's one paragraph here says the VISTA project will seek to increase student academic engagement.
That was the agreement, and
The VISTA members will continue to achieving the goals of the project by performing activities such as, and one sentence, this is a grant awarded to Winnebago Tribe of Nebraska. So what you're doing is referring to the VISTA program? VISTA
Yes.
Project?
yes.
Okay, but you mentioned it in your memo here.
Yeah. And that was our verbal agreement with Randy Decora, who is the coordinator for that VISTA grant that the tribe has.
He still has it.
He still has it, but he didn't hire us. And we already had a whole plan worked out, and I don't know what happened.
Randy has the grant
Yep, correct.
and he didn't award it to you?
He didn't hire us.
He didn't hire?
The grant is awarded to the Winnebago tribe. Randy is the coordinator for the tribe.
Who did he hire?
I don't know that he's hired. I haven't really paid any attention, but the position was for a resource developer, which is really was right up my alley, but he was bringing somebody from Berkeley, and I just says, well, forget it. I'm not going to be teaching somebody from Berkeley about our community, so I haven't had any contact with him. So, but the two little vistas he had in there before, they were kind of really go-getters. But I don't know what's going on with it, to be honest. So I just washed my hands of it because, oh, Jerry Lemire works with that also. So the other things we do at Atlas is our motherhood program, our daily advocacy, and our connection with the alcohol program is really what I'm most concerned about. Because if people come into the Atlas office, then we call the alcohol program, just as, we have. And it's easy access for our people. It's less threatening, less scary. And I really think that, if we don't have Atlas open,
we're going to lose more of our people. And just the daily advocacy we do gets a positive resolution for our people, whereas maybe they would be talked to some kind of way, you know, when we're with them. They're treated in a little bit more respectful way. So.
Can I ask you, or is it not public knowledge, who you're interested in taking your place over there?
Monica Whitewater?
I have a question, LaDonna.
Yes.
Have you ever taken advantage of your tax exempt status in applying for grants, or applying for funds?
Well, I did do that, yeah, and we did get some small ones with grants to American Indians in Nebraska. We're also looking at applying for a SEDS grant, and we're also looking at the recent tribal funding announcements that came out with the Nebraska Crime Commission. And I was going to talk with Joy about that to see if the tribe is applying for any of those. So that's why I'm saying right now we're asking for $23,000, but if you were to give it to us in quarters, perhaps we wouldn't need all of it.
Okay, I have a quarter.
You got 4.
Yeah, it is a little difficult for us that we've already appropriated the funds.
Yeah.
We've already done that. We've gone through the budget. And for us to find additional 23,000 at this point, it'd be very difficult. And I think you may have heard me from time to time that we're basically going from paycheck to paycheck.
Oh, I know that.
And we're gradually getting the money in, and hopefully it'll get better as the year goes on. But today it would be a little bit difficult. And I feel for the ALICE program. I realize what it does for the community and some of the community members. That it is a plus. It is a plus. And I realize why you're, applied for another job, or applied for a job, to support yourself, because you weren't receiving funds on this side.
Well, I applied for that job because people in our community need to get out, go knock on our doors. If we didn't go knock on that person's door today, they'd still be laying wherever they're laying with no help. We don't have a program that's going to do that. That's why I applied for the job. If I was worried about money, I wouldn't be doing that job either. Doesn't pay the greatest. But
Okay, Daphne?
I just wanted to say that, I've been to the Atlas program, I've seen the things they do. It is important. There's a lot of other grants out there that you can go after with a 501c3. I mean, you're like in the best possible position with a 501c3 to be able to go after some grant monies that would, and you wouldn't really have to worry about the tribe, because then your status is completely different than what the tribe is, because they're not operating a 501c3. And the other point that I was just going to mention to you is that you're familiar with the community, and if you're doing the outreach, I don't think that as many people as you think are going to be lost. Just because you've already had that experience, you're over there on a regular basis, and with you and me, I think that, there's a little bit of time to try to work that in there where you can apply for some of these other grants, if that's the interest that you still have. And, like I said, I told you that before, I'm willing to volunteer time to look at that stuff. I was a certified grant writer in the past, so I have that experience and that knowledge. So if there's anything that I can do to help you, I would be willing to do that.
well, maybe we can get Daphne to work with Joy. Joy.
Yeah,
Because
I'm more than willing to do anything to try short run of not being able to do it at this point. Not saying that in the future they wouldn't be able to, but once you're self-sufficient, then you can kind of keep writing your own ticket and leave it.
And, well, one of the other things too, I think you're gonna see an increase in the expenses of other programs because of the things that Atlas does do. Because of the food pantry, we don't have CPS workers taking clients up to Hy-Vee and getting $200 worth of food. That line item was wiped out by CPS. So when you close or if the Atlas
Yeah,
closes,
ain't nobody saying they're gonna close that.
no, I'm not.
You're saying that. Let's be
made,
clear.
I made a mistake. If the Atlas program closes, you're gonna see an increase in programs, their budget, the things that they have to do. That food thing is gonna have to be going up again. So, we served 329 families last year. So if you wanna take that times 200, it's a little bit more than 23,000. So,
Who's there that knows how to write grants and do work a 501c3
pardon me?
in the Atlas program?
I'm basically
Yeah, but you're
the
leaving
Atlas.
the Atlas program. You're going to go work someplace else.
I am
and
working
you're advocating for
someplaces.
something over here.
Yes,
So
because
I'm
I know.
asking that question. Who can sit in that position and handle that 501c3?
That's what I'm asking for, somebody to put in there, to get that, to be there, to carry on the program, because I am not going to be there. I'm only one person. I mean, how many times have I heard that from this table? You know, but we've done a lot with that program since we've been there. And there's just so much more that we need to do that's not being done. I mean, you can get all of these grants and they're still not gonna go knock on anybody's door. They're still not gonna go over there and say, hey, you know what? You wanna take a ride with me? That's not gonna happen. And quite often you know what, LaDonna, if you didn't do that, I was ready to go downtown to drink. You know, and those little things are things that save our people from taking that next drink. And that's after 4:30. That's on the weekends. These guys ain't gonna be working after 4:30. They're not gonna be working on the weekends. So, you know, that's something too. We've been saying that for how long, but yet nobody is working on the weekends. Nobody is working after 4:30.
What's gonna happen to Weha and your other helper?
I don't have another helper. I just have Weha. Well, she can enter the people and track them on the computer, but she's almost 74 years old. I'm not going to ask her to be lifting anything heavier than 10 pounds. It's even getting hard for me now. So it'll be open.
Why would she have to lift that? Wouldn't you think the people that she's giving it to would at least lift it?
Well, she'd have to put the basket together. Kenny, that's a lot. We served, Tuesday, we served 14 families. That's a lot of food to box up.
Oh yeah, I know you do a lot.
Yeah, and she can't do that.
Well,
Yeah.
I just wanna know.
Yeah, and I wouldn't even ask her to do that, or make her, or suggest that. That's just something she can't do. But she's good at being supportive, giving people a hug, encouraging them, and that's what we need.
I wasn't asking what she could do, I was asking what we're gonna do with her.
Oh, well, that's what I'm saying. She can still stay there. She can enter the data into our computer. And we need somebody with a little muscle. And somebody that can drive to the pantry and get the food and bring it back.
Donna, let me ask some questions here. How long has Atlas been in existence?
Since 2006, but since I went there in 2012, I don't think anybody knew about it. I mean, I don't say I'm all that, but, well, we did do a lot with it since I've been there.
Okay, I don't know how it was founded, you know, what it was based upon, you know, and hearing the need, you mentioned food and some other things. You know, you seem like, why don't you put it in perspective here than what the tribe offers, let alone creating something else like Atlas. You know, why did we separate here and did what you did? Now, there's nothing wrong with that. Don't get me wrong. But the thing is, if you have that 501(c)(3) status, I mean, that's an advantage to you, or that department, you know. But, you know, it's kind of late in the game in terms of the budget that we approved to come and if you heard it, it's very difficult to find that money.
Right.
You know, where you would think it'd be self-sustaining by now, you know. And,
By just me.
Huh?
By just me being there.
Well, I don't know how many you had during that course of time. And then another question, when you say living financial assistance to assist with the living stipends, what does that mean?
It means wage.
And that's for just like you and the ones that were mentioned.
Yeah.
Okay, and the vistas, that isn't
No.
because at some point I was told that was going to be additional for them.
No, it wasn't going to be additional.
already
It
getting
was
paid,
going to be
you know, I found that out.
that was going to be our source. That's why we didn't include it in our tribal allocation application. But then they reneged on us. So.
And I don't dispute what you guys are doing. I think you've done some good things, you know. But I don't know what the answer is over there, you know.
Yeah, they provided a lot of bedding and stuff like that
Yeah.
for people too.
Furniture.
I've seen people go over there.
Often when our people outsource their resources, they're not eligible for anymore. We find them funding through state and local agencies. So, and we work well with social services.
And if
They
someone,
refer
oh,
people.
excuse me, I'm sorry.
Yeah, they refer people back and forth to us. So, you know, I don't know what to say either. You know, I really, I usually do have a plan B, but I really thought this was a tribal grant and this was somebody telling me this, and that was our plan for a year. And we are looking at, like I said, we are looking at A&A. We are looking at the Nebraska Crime Commission, tribal opportunity announcements. So
I think it would be advantageous, like Daphne, she's willing to assist. And there's people like that, probably, you know, that want to step up and help. Is that correct? You know, and I think we need to take advantage of those things, you know, and just throwing that out there. You know, you're moving on to another side of things, and but yet over here, they're just kind of there yet, and there's no direction, you know, for those people that are presently there.
and you know how long I've been coming here?
He's not finished.
Okay.
And those people, you know, got nowhere to go. It's contingent upon you or contingent upon us. You know, and I don't affects their livelihood. I don't like that, you know, and then last minute. I know you were invited to a council meeting a couple of times and you didn't show for various reasons, you know, but that was a time for, we were talking financial stuff and maybe that was the time to do it, you know, so, but that communication is real important, you know, and I know nothing against you or anybody. You've done a great job, and we need to continue to meet those objectives, whatever they are. But there's just so much that's coming over the river, and there's so much that we can do. We're just gonna max out, you know. So if we were to do something like that, it would have to. It's tough. It's tough right now, you know. And I recognize all that I've seen it. I've seen it. You know, it's a good thing. So I don't know what the answer is, you know, at this moment, but I appreciate your efforts that you've done, and you're still don't want to leave them just hanging. But it's something that should have been looked at way ahead of time. You know, if you should move on, or we should be further up the road in terms of this 501c3 status. And if there's somebody who's willing to step up and they recognize, you know, that the advancement of this, the potential is great. You know, there's other grants out there. You know, but you got to have the willingness to open up and allow people to help with this. So that's all I have to say, Mr. Chair. I don't have anything else. I don't know. Roland is the treasurer. He's the money man. You know, and
Okay.
Dega, call him Dega when you want more.
Thank you, Madame.
Okay, well, you know, we have, because of our small status, because our financial institution is not credible the way we do business, we have applied for grants. We've got, we had a 72%, but we would have had like a 90%, 92%, but we got nixed 20 points on the financial institution credibility. So anything, we're too small in that way. I mean, there's nonprofits that are, yeah, they're big, but we're small. We're very small. So our credibility as a financial institution is really hurting us. So we would have to seek to apply under maybe HCCDC or the tribe, because we've gone this grant route, and that's what is always comes back. Yes, we know there's a lot of grants out there. I see them, I get on there. But I'm only one person, and I really didn't think that we were going to get nixed from the Vista tribal grant. I thought that's a grant awarded to the Winnebago tribe for the Winnebago people. And I thought, you know, we came to agreement. I thought that was going to happen. And I usually always do have a plan B. So, well,
I like the, Mr. Chairman, I like the name you mentioned in Monica Whitewater. I sure would like to see her get a break in life. Maybe this would be the situation or the time, but I think she would need a sidekick that could really support her. And when Daphne mentioned her desire or her willingness to help with granting and all that kind of stuff, that may just be the support that Monica would need. I know her, she tried hard to be involved in church. She just struggles every day. She's a young woman, and life
and
isn't
she's
easy.
doing it.
Life
Yeah.
isn't easy for her. But if we could make it a little better by putting her in a position like that and have Daphne as her mentor, I would like to see that happen, but that's just a vision. That ain't something that I could say will work.
Well, that was kind of our vision too. And I have been mentoring her for a couple of years now with other ladies. I will still be doing Motherhood is Sacred there. I'll still be involved at Atlas, however, which way I can, but not enough for it to be productive the way it has been. So,
There's a lot of merit to what Kenny's saying, and I would be for that. You know, an idea is an idea, but a plan is another thing. How do you get there? I would support a plan, you know, but if we don't have a plan, just based on idea, I wouldn't be able to support that. You know, so this here, it's going to make you grow, I would assume, you know, and with good people like Daphne and the lady you mentioned, then it's worth the shot. We tried it, you know.
That man that gives you the meat and all of that kind of stuff, he's a generous man. He's really good. And we've talked about Atlas on numerous occasions. And he loves Winnebago. He loves Indian people. He loves the Reformed Church. And he likes what's going on over there. He asked me a while back if he should be a board member. We had a long discussion about that. But I think if push comes to shove, he would involve himself a little more. Because I think you gave him a good account of what he's given you since you've been running that program.
yeah, well,
And
that's,
I guess I would go along and I would throw out more support in all areas if she came under that umbrella over there. She's a person with resources and probably wants to get out of the house. People are her passion. So, I don't know why Daphne put it in there with her. That brings up the question, where's the pay for them gonna come from?
Personally, I'm willing to volunteer my time, a few hours a day, 3 days a week, or whatever she needs. So, but I can do that much, you know what I mean?
That's a
That-
lot.
And I don't need the compensation because, you know, I feel like these are my people too, you know, and that's how come I'm down here bugging you guys all the time. And I don't mean to be like a pain in your side or anything. I just wanna present more ideas and then I think, you know, trying to lead by example and say, you know what, there's a lot of resources in the community. And if you're willing to give up your time, you're building your community. You know, I want our kids to learn that they have to put back in to be able for our community to flourish. And I figure the only way that can become accomplished is that if I'm out there doing what I say, you know. So, you know, don't think that I'm looking for compensation because I'm not.
Yeah, I didn't mean it that way.
Okay.
I said moral support.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I respect that. Are you open for that?
well, yeah, I mean, I'm basically been doing the same thing Daphne's saying. You know, I've been living on peanuts too. My little senior pilot position. And if I didn't claim my Social Security early, I wouldn't be able to be over there. So,
I like what I'm hearing. I guess there's ideas here, and if we can collectively come together, you know, and we can figure this thing out, you know, and if your willingness to do that, if you're receptive of her help and assistance, you know, I think it'd be good, and we're willing to help, you know, if we can in any way, you know, because it's meeting the service to the people, whatever that is, you know. So,
Our big problem in this reservation is there's a lot of curses in there, in this community. When I say that, I mean every program has a curse with money. And they all hold it for themselves in their own programs, rather than put it into a program like Atlas or some other program that reaches out on a voluntary basis. And everybody's tight with their
you just take a little bit from everyone?
Ladonna,
Yes.
I want to provide a suggestion for you.
Oh,
Okay,
God.
we have the tribe has a economic development corporation, and we have 2 board members here. And that corporation has a charitable account. Okay, using your status, your tax exempt status, have you tried them?
Did they used to be called the Winnebago Community Development
No,
Fund?
they're currently called Ho-Chunk Corporation,
Yeah,
HCI.
yeah. And I believe on that application, one of the things they don't fund is wages.
Is what?
Wages. That's why we ended up saying living stipends, and we tried that, and it didn't go.
Okay, did you approach ACI then? How long ago was that?
A couple years ago.
Well, it's hard to go to an organization that you hate and ask them for money.
Who hates that? I don't think anybody hates it. Do you hate?
I don't hate HCI. I don't like the fact that I don't get a profit sharing check, and I'm a tribal member.
That's HCI.
Well, hate's a strong word. I don't hate anybody.
Okay, well,
Okay.
I tried to explain to you our situation.
Yeah.
It has to do with the appropriation, our budgets. And there's a possibility to make it better, as I said.
What happened to Mal's money? The money Mel wasn't taking.
That's good.
sitting right in front of you, ask him.
I don't know what they did with it. They switched things around in the budget. I know 30 went to the Boys and Girls Club, the other 30, I don't know. They told me they couldn't use it for whatever. He explained it to me.
Alan, could you explain
But-
that to him once again? So it's clear to everybody?
Yeah,
Come up to a mic.
sure. What we were able to do with Mr. Frenchman's salary was take the 50% that was funded through appropriations, and we moved it as we were requested over to the Boys and Girls Club. The 50% that's paid from the indirect cost pool, we can't move indirect cost pool money into appropriations funded programs, so we were able to redistribute that to help some of the indirect cost pool programs that needed it,
Because it's not allowable.
because it's not allowable.
We
do
have
that.
to stay within those confines of those parameters, correct?
Correct. If we had tried to move it outside of the indirect cost pool, it would have been $30,000 indirect, unallowable cost that we would have got dinged for.
Which would have affected our audit,
Yep.
and that would have hurt us in the long run.
Yeah, so we were able to reprogram that, the majority of it went into HR to help them with some of their training dollars that they desperately needed.
So we are being fiscally responsible with that.
Yes.
Is that clear to everybody?
So all you're really saying, so all you're really saying is that the indirect cost that you collect from all the programs from their federal grants has stipulations on it, and so that's the money that you can't move to appropriations programs.
That is correct.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that
Yeah,
in layman's terms, that I'm understanding what you said.
you're understanding correctly.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'd like to say something.
Okay, yeah, man.
You know what, for me, this is just a small amount, a number that they're requesting. You know, Atlas is a good thing. I visited with LaDonna once before. As myself, you know, there was a time I had to use a pantry in Omaha as well. Wasn't proud of it, but I had to do the things I had to do. I myself would like to I wish we could give them this amount that they're requesting. We sit here, we talk about we don't have money. I mean, it just that's the kind of stuff is why I'm here, and it just irks me. We're so can come together and pull money out to fix that thing over there. If we have to, then let's do it for them.
Yeah.
I mean, I sit up here. It's an honor to sit here, and I ain't crying for $1. I don't want $1. I'm sitting up here because of this types of things. Our people need us. And then when we sit here and tell them that, you know, we don't have no money, I mean, it irks me. It does. When you're all collecting a nice big check take home every 2 weeks. So I hope that we can somewhere find some money to get these people situated, taken care of.
What suggestions do you have on where we could find that money?
You tell me. That's what I pay you for. You're our treasurer. Whatever, you know, since I've been in here, I mean, people that come in and want, it's like we can't do it. We can't do it.
We've appropriated $16,000 to that program initially. She's coming in and asking for an additional $23,000.
Yes.
Which brings that to a total of $39,000.
Yes.
And do you remember?
We're operating at a $4 million deficit because
It's not the people's fault, though. That's what I keep saying.
I'm trying to give you an explanation, sir. Please, let me finish. I respect you. I respect what you're saying. I agree with you. It irks me as well. But we're operating at a $4 million deficit, and we're trying to bring that down. Now I'm trying to operate at a $1,700,000 deficit this year. That's our fiscal year. We're still in a deficit. That's where we're at. This is what I inherited. I'm trying to figure this out. How are we going to bring more money over here so that we can do what she's asking for?
Well, that's the reason why we paid that note out, so more money would come over here for us.
That's a part of the solution. The other part is making sure that we have cash flow over here on this end. So, how are we going to do that? This man sitting over here, he had a solution. And I agree with the way that he did that because that brought some cash flow over here. Now, we're looking at having that conversation. We're working towards that. So that when people like her come in there that want this extra funding, it's there. We're not there yet, but we're working toward it. Now, I'm glad that you're here because what you say, it rings true. And you lend that support to this, and that's really important, Mel, because we're getting closer. When you showed up and you sat at that table, that made a big difference towards that. And I respect you. I respect what you do. I respect what you have done all the way up to now. I got no problems with you. But that's where we're at, sir.
I understand. It kind of hurts, you know, in the heart.
I hear you.
I'm unable to do this. Maybe I'll just step up and...
Well, earlier this evening, I'm going to chime in here. Earlier this evening, you know, we're trying to do something over there of this powwow, last Bear Moon powwow. And there was additional request for $2,000. You know, we had a chance to say no, but no. Who voted for it? I abstained for it. I abstained. We had a chance there if we meant what we're saying. That money could have been used for that. You know, I ain't tearing that down or anything. We're trying to do something. But when you get people in there coming into my house and they can't meet their needs of rent or their light bill or water bill or what have you, but we're proving another category for a powwow over here. So I hear what you're saying. If we're for our people, then let's say it and let's do it. One day we're this way and one day we're that way. Let's be consistent. So I hear what you're saying, and that's why I abstain from that. Nothing against what we're trying to do. You're trying to do something here,
it's hard for me and difficult for me when you have people sitting there crying, you know, need help, and we can't help them. So we had a chance earlier tonight to do something, but it went through, got approved.
What about putting two plans together? Maybe finding enough money to support us quarterly. In the meantime, Daphne's working with us to hopefully get a grant for us, because even though we do get a grant, we'd have to look first at the Nebraska Crime Commission. Otherwise, the A&A grants, they're not awarded till October 1st or 30th, September 30. But the Nebraska Crime Commission grants are awarded in April. So if we got one of those, we would only need a quarter of that.
What is a quarter of that?
He's looking at a fourth of the $23,000.
What do you got on that math there, sir?
Well,
$7,250.
About $7,000 to $8,000.
$7,250.
If you're looking at paying a salary though, you know, you gotta look at either they're gonna pay their own taxes or you're gonna be responsible for paying the taxes. So when you're looking at the 8,000, if you're looking at a salary or a wage, then you're gonna have to figure on your fringe, whatever the fringe is at this point. I don't even know what those figures are.
Depends on if it's part-time. If it's like a part-time position, then the fringe would be about 10% max.
okay, let's stop with that figure. Because in here, we had one part-time, and that's what Monica would be. So that would be even less. We did not figure on me getting a different position. So a quarter of 12,000, 3,000. And that's why we call it a living stipend, because we're responsible for our own taxes.
How are you paying Lena?
She's a senior pilot worker, just as I was. So we could even have Daphne apply for my senior pilot position.
Yeah, I mean, when I applied before, there wasn't anything available. I mean, that all those positions were filled, so that's how I went and found a different part-time job. But
Mr. Chairman?
that's
Let's not say no, but let's look in this more and work on it. Move
Okay,
on.
well, I was gonna provide a suggestion.
Okay.
Okay, if you're gonna apply for some funds through the Nebraska Justice, was that what you said?
Crime Commission.
Crime Commission, okay. If you were gonna do that, have you done it yet?
They're due March
Okay,
21st.
so you haven't done
Second.
it?
No.
You haven't done it yet?
No.
Okay, so you haven't put together a proposal, which would mean a plan,
Right.
what means that what would it cover?
Well,
See,
we,
you haven't, that's what would, that your proposal consist of. You'd have to prepare a narrative on what you're requesting, what it's gonna be used for. You have to do a budget,
your service area.
and then, yeah, and, see, and I'm comparing that to what you're requesting today. You know, you mentioned just stipends in here.
Mhm.
And when you were talking, I'm trying to visualize, you know, the actual function of the Atlas program. What does it do? You mentioned food. You mentioned clothing. You mentioned furniture. But, you know, I don't see it here. And you're making an assumption that we know exactly what the Atlas program does.
well, many of you do. You guys refer them
Yeah.
over to us when they need help with lights, with
Okay,
rent.
you asked a question, no one said anything on that. Okay, we provided 16,000, and I think that was by your verbal request.
No, I supplied a budget
Was it?
with
Okay.
a narrative,
Okay. And a narrative?
yes.
Okay, why, you didn't do it on this one?
No, I didn't, because I don't know why I didn't. It's just I thought I was kind of confident that you guys had found the money for us and what it was going to be. And it was kind of like a slap in the face when Randy said, well, no, I guess they're not gonna hire you guys. I'm like,
You know, I have a problem with that. Who did he go out and hire then?
like I said, I don't know. But I told them, don't be sending anybody from Berkeley down here, cause I'm not gonna be teaching them about our community. I don't have time for it.
I just have a
So-
problem with why he wouldn't have went with someone local who
Well-
knows the people.
There's that Vista worker. She's here for a year and she gets about $10,000 stipend per year.
That was last year.
Yeah. Well, the new one. They were just here last week.
I think we're close to finding a solution to what her request. It's just making sure that you have a written plan so that we can come back and then approve that sooner than later. I think that's what I'm hearing. Is that kind of the direction you're taking it, Chair?
Yeah.
What do you think, Kenny?
And you know, we submitted that epidemic crisis plan to you as part of our advocacy. That was a lot of work. So Atlas was a whole lot more than you, I guess I even realized. And in April of 2016 is when I first started working on something to change the way our people are treated for substance abuse. And we've just now got this grant.
Who's on your board of directors now?
Nikki, Nola, Rollin, he hasn't been to a meeting yet. Wakan Grasty,
I'm inundated with other things.
Randy Tebow. Randy Tebow just joined. So he's still, kinda doesn't know what's going on yet. But he hears about Atlas, and when we asked him, he just immediately said yes.
He's got relatives that go over there.
Well, we all do, we're all
Yeah,
related.
I know, that's what I'm saying. He knows about it because he knows people in his family that can go over there and get help. That's what I'm saying. Well, I don't know, I guess.
Could be any of our grant writers or something.
So do you
Dan-
want?
Danf already volunteered to do some grant writing.
Okay. Well,
And what I would suggest, LaDonna, is put together a plan. If you did a plan for that 16,000 that was appropriated for your program to use, you know, do the same thing. And then what we'll try and do is we'll try and find it. And you mentioned a quarter of that,
Yes,
you know, to support something, but still do a
To-
plan.
kinda keep us going until something comes in.
But,
wha-
you know, the other thing is that, you know, there's no guarantee something else will come in.
Right?
So you'd have to take some of those things into consideration when you do that plan.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things I mentioned before, because we're not established as a financial institution because we're so small, that we'd have to go under the tribe. So it would have to go under the tribe and then you disperse it to Atlas. And we had that once we had a grant small grant like that once before, and we ran it through HCCDC, and that's how we kept alive for a couple of years. But the IDC was like 5,000, that's a lot of money for us. But, are the things we have to do. So we've done it before, and we've almost been we've scored high on our applications, but the thing that dings us every time is the financial part, because we don't have a reputable financial institution.
Well, need to work on some of those things. Okay,
Well, how?
do the plan on your request, and then we'll do what we can. As I said, you've already received 16,000, so the possibility is still there. And for you to come in and verbally request 23,000, that's different than what you had requested before.
Well,
Are you seeing my point?
yeah, I'm seeing your point, and something just came to my mind, because some of that, what we requested was for outreach. And if we could use some of that to sustain us, some of that money that we were going to use for brochures and ink and things like that.
LaDonna? Okay, yeah, we can drag this out for a long time. But what I'm asking is do a written plan, do a budget, present it, and then we'll see if we can find it. And I just talked to the treasurer, and he was communicating with his CFO back there. There's a chance it will happen. But first, we need a plan and we need a budget. Can you do that? I know you're not with Alice anymore, but maybe you can do it on behalf of Alice, or maybe Daphne can do it. Okay?
Come over.
I've been over there visiting, and like I said, I'm still working on a community resource guide.
Thank you.
Hopefully you guys will pick it up in the future.
Mhm.
I said that you move to the city and you can go to the Chamber of Commerce and then know what resources are available in that community. So that's kind of what I've been working on throughout our community, so that when new people come in, or, cause we have tribal members that are coming home, maybe they don't even know, so I've got Atlas in there, the alcohol program, all of those places I've been going and interviewing the directors to say, what services do you offer, when do you offer them, those all, so, I'm hoping to have that resource manual so that members can come here and pick it up, because
No.
so that goes along with what you were saying, yeah.
Okay, well, each one of us, we know, how important that the Alice program has been in the community. We served a lot of people, those that couldn't qualify for subsistence from the human service programs and some of the other programs, so they came to you and you provided that. So we know how important it is, and we would like to see it continue. And we also know, how important the alcohol program is and the position that you took up there. And it's going to have a positive impact in the community. And what you've been doing in the past, going door to door, that's going to happen again through the alcohol program, because you'll be there, you and Nate. And I'm sure that, you'll be associated with the Atlas program somehow. And so, if you and Daphne can do something and prepare something, then we'll take it and see what we can do.
Okay, thank you.
Is that what you said, Kenny?
Sounds good to me. I got a question. There's two people up there that got their certifications, and they can get their license, provisional counselor's license, but Danelle's denied paying for their license. Never heard of that. Never heard of taking training, and when you're ready and certified, that you get your license. But them license costs $250. Those people that are working up there shouldn't have to pay that $250. She's telling them that Scott Ulrich and Grace have to pay for their license. That's bullshit. I never heard of that before. That's
And
something's got to be done about that.
Danelle said that?
Yeah. And she was the one that made that decision because the alcohol program, the health department now is under her. And I never knew this, that they put the alcohol program back under the health
Oh,
department.
we took it back. It's under the tribe.
Then now they have no business
No.
making that. You saved the day for me. I'm not sure on it. Oh, no.
Getting worked up for nothing.
Anyway, that's what happened. And she had the authority to do it. But she didn't know that you don't do that to people that are trained to get licensed, then make them pay for it themselves.
Well, I told the two that were gonna be certified, but the tribe will pay for it, because they're under the tribe.
Okay, all right, good.
Just kind of taking for granted you guys are gonna call me next.
Okay. Don't take things for granted.
We adjourned right
We're gonna
there real
adjourn
quick. We adjourned
Adjourned right
already.
before you got up
I
here.
know.
Well, you
Jack.
guys are swapping numbers.
She's got strings to pull. She wasn't born last night.
No,
Just
the
looking
top,
up.
the one I'm
The
laying
alcohol
on the
program's
top
under
is
the
like the
tribe.
most
Yeah, I'm gonna ask
time-sensitive
about
one.
it.
Where she did Atlas for Vista workers, that threw me off completely.
Yeah,
I didn't
I
know-
hear you, yeah.
I didn't know that wasn't the case.
Oh, we're just trying to-
Yeah, it had no business being put in there.
But this is
I'll
the
give you
most
$1
important
to
one,
start.
cause this is that one, she needs to get her registration and stuff done. And plus, you know how expensive flights get the closer you get. So the top one is the most important one and the one we wanna do right away if we can.
Is that all you?
Phyllis does have some,
I got one this morning. You handed me mine.
no, the training one.
Oh, okay.
This is about that training this is like an enrollment.
Well, is this one that's going on in Las Vegas?
Yeah.
How many are you talking?
For the Las Vegas one, just Phyllis. And then I got some numbers for you, but I didn't get to put them on all your forms, cause I had to catch up with Annette and get like the per diem rate and all that kinda stuff. Phyllis seemed to think that she had like $5,500 in that budget for her training and travel. And so right now we're looking at, her travel would be $800 for the flight. Or no, $300 for the flight. I got my numbers wrong here. $800 for lodging. The per diem comes to like $396.50, and then there's a mileage added on there for travel to and from the airport for $99.88. And the registration itself is $1,069, I believe.
Mileage.
1569 here.
Yeah, $1,569. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's what I got written down here. $1,569 was I was talking about. I read you the wrong number because I was looking at the travel, training, mileage, and per diem all mixed together for $1,596.38. For a total of $3,165.38. The thing that the committee likes about this training is that there's a certification testing at the end. And so at that point she would be certified. If you look at the training schedule itself, it's a pretty intense training. And they cover a lot of different topics. Things that the committee felt like they were gonna need guidance on. So we were hoping that she would be able to go and get certified, and then she can do some training with us when she gets back about what she learns there. Phyllis. Yeah, the enrollment director.
Are you the chairman, Daphne?
I'm not the chairman at this point. That's a vacant spot.
Okay.
So,
Phyllis has gone to all kinds of training and we don't get anywhere. Why don't you go? As long as I've been on this council for years.
Because she says she doesn't
It's
have
always-
budget for
it's-
anybody
huh?
else to go.
Huh?
yeah.
She told us out of her budget doesn't have, all the extra money, for anybody else to go but her.
Yeah.
And that's in her budget, that's what she told us a few times.
Mhm.
Oh, man,
Leanne asked
I'm
for
not,
most of the training last year, she said it wasn't in her budget.
you know.
I know we went
asking-
down this road last year. We tried to get those guys sent,
You're the board. You
Couldn't
can
do it.
Yeah.
and we wanted to.
You're the board, you can do it.
Mhm.
Look at this moratorium we've had out there for what, 4 years.
Yeah, and
That's when you have to come to you and stuff for the money, if you wanna go to, you know, these training things that are out, you know, around non-United States, whatever having this is.
yeah, I think we're, cause that was the second sheet, the committee wants to at least go to this one down, that's gonna be at the Blackbird Bend. It's $100 registration fee. We wouldn't need per diem or mileage, cause we're all willing to make it there on our own, since it's just right down the road.
Yeah.
And then that, registration for that one's $100 for the entire time, and it's a 3-day training. I guess our only concern at this point was that I haven't been able to reach Laura McCauley to find out actually who's conducting the training.
Yeah.
So that was, that was the other question that we had as the committee. But we figured at least this is a starting point for us to all get on the same sheet of music and be a cohesive group, so that we all can answer the same questions and all of those kinds of things when people come to us as the committee.
Well, I would support that, the Omaha one there.
Uh-huh.
Training down there. I would support this other one as well.
Mhm.
But I'd like to see our whole committee train ultimately.
Yeah.
Because of the need of this enrollment issue is a hot topic.
Yeah.
As you're aware, we need to. And the committee last year wanted to go somewhere, but the cost was tremendous.
Yeah.
So we said, well, can we bring that person here to do that?
Yeah,
But
and
there
that
was
was.
no follow up on that. And we couldn't meet that.
Yeah, and the other thing that I was gonna tell you is that I am in touch with the Falmouth Institute, because I've researched at least 2 now. Bill brought me one that was DCI, and theirs is real vague. I liked the Falmouth model just because they cover more topics. And so then I am in touch with them to talk to them about how much it would cost to get a trainer here. But when I talked to the representative today, she said we would still be looking at a time, like they still want 3 days. So they would want to be here for 3
That's what I'm
days.
just gonna
But she's supposed to get back to me about those kinds of numbers. And then just as, to compare apples to apples, I am going to get the DCI model and see. And then I'll research one more. But I think it would behoove all of us to have the training, the TC and the enrollment committee. And so we'd get the biggest bang for our buck if we could do it that way. And so that, I just wanted to even see if it was going to be the slightest possibility of that happening for them to come here and do the training.
Better.
But I can bring the numbers when we come again, but I just wanted to make sure that you guys would even entertain the idea of someone coming here to do the training.
What, Kenny?
There's a guy named James, Mills, and he does this enrollment training. He'd come here, he did the Robert's Rules of Order.
Okay.
He did a session with us.
Who is he with?
He had to
Is
put
he
it
on his own?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. In the past, the tribe has used him 3 or 4 times. He's come here. When there used to be new councils, he'd come and go through the whole Robert's Rules of Procedure.
Mhm.
He also does an enrollment seminar also.
Okay.
I'm promoting him because I know what he's done on several occasions. He could come here.
Okay.
But he's gonna be in Vegas sometime this summer too, with the
Mhm.
workshop. If you wanna get out of town to.
Hey.
But he could come to town too.
No, they're
Yeah.
going to Macy, so.
Yeah, we're happy going
God
to
bless
Blackbird
Macy.
Bend
God
at
bless
this
Omaha.
point.
Don't go to Macy, 'cause the girls will just keep coming in there and wanna pull Bill out of there.
So,
It's time for something like this, so
okay.
it's time for something.
Well, you know me,
Got a lot of people waiting out there to
Yes.
go one way or the other. They're
Yeah.
just on the fence.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to authorize travel for the Executive Director of Enrollment Department to attend the Travel Enrollment Certification Program in Las Vegas, March 25th through the 29th, in amount of $1569.
Yeah, that's the tuition. The total with
Three.
her per diem and stuff is 3,000.
For just her? Is it for just her?
Yeah.
Sure.
One
For the
person.
Vegas trip.
High registration.
You're not gonna get me to support that, brother.
Hmm.
I've gotten way too many and hasn't come up with anything.
Well, I think that if the committee starts being more aggressive about what they want and more assertive, I think it'll go a long ways to her being able to answer questions for us too, you know, when we have those come up. And the other thing is the other component is when we were talking about a secretarial election, about the change in the enrollment criteria. I think if she has some kind of comfort level and can give me some kind of comfort level, I can argue better on behalf of that. But right now, I don't feel like I have a comfort level with that.
I know, you know, one of our strongest sovereign rights is we
Is-
have the right to decide who our members are gonna be.
Yeah.
We don't have to go to the BIA or the Department of the Interior or all those places to say whether our people are enrolled members or not. That's one of the last sovereign rights we have left, and they're trying to deny that.
Yeah.
We have a say about that.
And that's what I said, you know, that's up to us to decide who our
Exactly.
citizens are and who they aren't. I mean,
Exactly.
I don't know.
you know.
She said
Bald-headed white, I almost
Come
lose
on.
Bald-headed
Okay.
white man in Washington DC ain't gonna tell me who should be a tribal member and who shouldn't. That's baloney.
Yeah.
Are we funding this?
Anyway, I'm
I
done.
think there's
I'm
Phyllis has travel money in her budget to cover her lodging and stuff because I tried to get her to disclose to me the full amount and she said she didn't know for sure and we couldn't pull it up and she said the last time she checked there was about $5,500 in her budget for travel and lodging, but it needed to be approved.
Well, if you think this would be worthy, you know, the committee does, I would support that. You know, because I know that they haven't gone anywhere, you know, for quite a while, you know.
I told Bill, I said, we'll be happy to travel down the road here and at least we'll have an idea about $3,165.38 is what the total ended up being.
How much was that?
So it was the $1,569 for the tuition and then the lodging, per diem, mileage, and travel was $1,596.38.
Were you talking about the one over here?
No, gee, the one in Vegas, yeah,
That's for just her?
yeah, and then that covers the cost of the exam and the certification at the end. And I think it's important that we get at least one person certified to answer some of these questions and at some point maybe the rest of us can get that through maybe someone coming here to provide us that kind of training. But you know, I'm interested in going because the question and answer stuff is really important to me because we have so many of those questions and I'm just kind of, I told the other committee members the other night, I said, I'm kind of worried about somebody challenging the moratorium and somebody challenging the DNA testing if we don't word the language right. So, you know, those things I think we have to continue to consider and make sure that we're thinking in a broader scope than just, if his name is on that birth certificate or not on that birth certificate and we're making him get a DNA test, you know, that kind of stuff. So I just think we need to cover all our bases where those things are concerned and
and not unintentionally make a loophole for anybody.
Call for the question, Mr. Chair.
What's, you made the motion? What's the motion?
Authorizing the executive or the director of enrollment travel on this,
Meaning just,
on the travel enrollment certification program in Las Vegas, March 25th to the 29th.
it would be just Phyllis?
That's the request, yeah.
Is that
Right?
your request?
Yeah,
I thought you said
because-
you wanted one, I thought you said you wanted one board member to go.
There's been a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Been motion second to allow the executive director of the enrollment department to attend tribal enrollment certification program in the amount of,
3,168, correct?
Yeah.
discussion? Any objections? Call for vote. In favor? 1, 2, 3. 3 yes, no? Abstention? 1. 1 council member not voting. Motion passed.
You don't need to vote. No?
Marlon?
No.
Is that an abstain? Abstention?
Not voting.
Not voting.
Then the second one is a request for us, and that one's like not as urgent, but the committee themselves would like to go to the enrollment training that's being offered at Blackbird Bend, and that one's in April.
Move it, Mr. Chair.
There's been a motion, is there a second?
Second.
A motion second to allow the entire enrollment committee
Yeah, but
to
well,
attend training at Blackbird Bend Casino. Discussion? Any objections? No objections, motion passed 5-0-0.
Yeah, I vote on,
Made this motion provided you make sure that Billy comes back. Gets down there, you don't.
Billy Hollowell.
I vote no on that first one.
You voted no?
Yep.
okay. So then it was 302.
Yep.
Okay.
Every neck moves on there, Billy.
No, 311. 311.
311.
311.
Well, I appreciate your time, and like I said, I appreciate the things you guys have to go through to try to get this place to stay running. So, even though I might be a headache sometimes, forgive me because I'm just kind of voicing what some of the constituents are voicing.
You're
So,
a tribal member.
Thank
Val.
you coming in.
You're a
Thank you.
tribal member.
all right.
Move
Thank
to
you.
adjourn.
Chair, entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move it, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Oh, okay.
Been a motion, second to adjourn. Any objections?
Object. Let's get it.
No objections. Motion passed 5-0-0. We're adjourned at 7:16.